against. I want to start by getting Amit Malviya to set up this debate and explain why he thinks the kind of politics that we've been seeing of late sets the stage for a similar attack or an attempt or an assassination of the kind that was attempted in the United States. Mr. Malviya, let's start from there.
Rahul, first of all, what we saw in America is very disconcerting. And the assassination bid on Donald Trump's life is a rude awakening for world leaders across. We've seen the Japanese Premier Shinzo Abe. He was taken out in an assassination attempt like this. We had the Slovakian Prime Minister, Robert Fico, a target of an assassination attempt. And now Trump. Trump is not just an aspirant for the president's office, he is also the former president of America. Now let's come to India. Has Prime Minister Modi been targeted in the past? Have there been attempts on his life? The answer is yes. In 2013, in a rally in Patna, several bombs went off, and later it was learned that there was a bomb right under the dais on which several leaders were, and there was a suicide bomber who wanted to attack the Prime Minister. We've seen how Punjab police, when it was under the Congress, was completely lackadaisical about Prime Minister's security. His convoy was left stranded on a flyover for several minutes in breach of all norms. Let's come to the politics of it. There is erring similarity between what we are seeing in the United States and what we saw in India recently. One of the themes of campaign in America is democracy is in danger. What would it be here in India? Samvidhan ko bachana hai, constitution khatre mein hai. The similarities don't end there. Biden routinely calls Trump a dictator. Rahul Gandhi used the same words for Prime Minister Modi on several occasions. The rhetoric that if Trump gets elected, there will be no elections thereafter, the constitution will be suspended, and so on and so forth. We've heard similar narratives here कि अगर भाजपा जीत जाती है तो संविधान खतरे में पड़ जाएगा, चुनाव नहीं होंगे, this will become a dictatorship. Much like the race theory in America, caste has been sought to weaponize here in India. A particular community was targeted and a myth was perpetuated that if the BJP comes back to power, reservations will be taken away and a certain community will suffer. Now, if the consequence of all these rhetorical statements was an assassination bid on Trump's life, why will it be any different in India? But in India, Rahul Gandhi has gone a step further. He has, in his public speeches, actually said things like, "Log Modi ko dande marenge." He has gone on to make light of unfortunate episode that happened in Banaras, in fact justifying it. We've had issues when several agitations were going on in the country and we've seen the left come out and raise slogans like "Marja Modi." So it's not as if Prime Minister Modi's life has not been on target. Rahul Gandhi has encouraged and in fact justified the attack on him. And before the Congress claims that their own leaders have got assassinated, I want to remind them that they were assassinated for political decisions that they took. But even as Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi's convoy was stoned on several occasions. There have been very unpopular incidents that have happened with both Indira and Rajiv. We condemn that, but the progeny of the Gandhis today is actually wishing death and assault on Prime Minister Modi. His rhetoric is very similar to the one that we are seeing in the United States. So who is the one stringing what is happening in the United States and what happened here in India? Just one last point, Rahul.
So, Amit,
is there a puppeteer here? Is Rahul Gandhi a prop? And is the American politics now reflecting what we saw here in India? Those are the questions that we need to ask.
So you've set the stage for this debate You're saying that Rahul Gandhi has been calling Prime Minister Modi a fascist, a dictator, an autocrat, and that the political tropes are similar to what we've seen in the United States, whether it's on caste, where you got race in the US, constitution, democracy being in danger. Mahima Singh, respond to this argument being pushed by the BJP that the politics of the Congress and the kind of spectre of hatred that is sought to be created against the Prime Minister is potentially creating a breeding ground for a similar assassination attempt on the life of our Prime Minister.
Jai Hind. Rahul, ahimsa paramo dharma satyagraha. That is the ideology that the Congress has always propagated ever since the times of Mahatma Gandhi. But it is saddening to say and remind the nation of the assassination of our very dear Bapu, of the father of the nation, who was assassinated by the hatred ideology that where the BJP finds its roots actually. So when we talk about violence, of course it is condemnable. Violence, where violence is there, peace will of course not be there. But where is the violence being propagated in this country? That is what needs to be seen and fixed. The likes of Gyandev Ahuja, the likes of Parvesh Verma, the likes of Ramesh Bidhudi, who can abuse a sitting MP on the floor of the House, they belong to the ideology of the BJP. When you talk about the Congress, we have lost our leaders. We have lost two sitting prime ministers of the country to that extremist mindset, which the BJP propagates and the RSS propagates. I was listening very carefully to the BJP leader when he was speaking about violence, and it almost seems as if the BJP is trying to float across a conspiracy theory against or in fact, they are suggesting perpetration of assassination of our Prime Minister, which I think, is absolutely the BJP's whimsical, vicious idea, probably. It's more reflective of their ideology rather than the Congress party. Because as I already said, ahimsa paramo dharma, that is the ideology we have always not only reflected or not only carried the flag of, but that is where we belong. That is what we wear the torch of. So I do not know where the BJP is getting these
Abhijit
ideas
Iyer
from.
Mitra,
Of course.
do you think that this was in some senses predictable, that this was a assassination attempt which could have pretty much been foretold? The kind of divisive, sharp, shrill, polarized comments we've been hearing is really setting the stage for somebody who potentially is mentally disturbed, very angry, very frustrated, to make this kind of effort. And do you think there are some parallels in the kind of political conversations that we're seeing in India as well, Abhijit?
Thanks, Rahul. So there are there are similarities across the globe. If you look at it, the left always uses the language of dehumanization everywhere you go. Be it the Congress in India, be it the Democrats in America, be it the left in Slovakia, be it the left in Japan. They do this consistently. What is their thing about? Sure, they also ridicule Modi. They call him Feku and non-biological PM and all of that, which is funny. But the rest of it is that he's a tyrant, he's a Nazi, he's a dictator, he's a mass murderer, God knows what else. The implication is that if he stays in power, you are all in danger. What does the BJP, the Republicans, especially Trump and people do like that in return? They mock and ridicule. Rahul Gandhi is called Pappu. Trump calls Joe Biden Sleepy Joe. You see, nobody is incited to kill a joker. People are incited to kill a to-be Hitler. And the problem here is none of them either bother or care about the weight and gravitas of their words. Like Amit said, the INC Congress handle made fun of the fact that a chappal was thrown at the Prime Minister. It could have very well been a grenade. Then Rahul Gandhi himself comes out and says, "Loga danda aake marenge Modi ko." So this is the kind of thing that keeps happening systematically over and over again. And then what happens is the left-wing press comes and normalizes all of this. You saw the headlines of the New York Times. You saw the headlines of the Washington Post. You saw the headlines CNN was running, USA Today was running after they did not want to call it an assassination attempt. Even Joe Biden and Barack Obama in their tweets, what did they say? There has been an event. There has been political violence. Call it what it is, an assassination. They won't do that. what ends up happening here is you will see the same thing out here where everything is whitewashed. There has been an encounter killing in Tamil Nadu, for example. Now, the same Congress that goes berserk every time there's an encounter killing in UP, absolute pin drop silence from them on the encounter killing in Tamil Nadu. The same thing, if you notice, happens over and over again here as well. Even when the call to exterminate all Hindus was made by Udayanidhi Stalin, the Congress did not come out and condemn it till the Tamil Nadu phase of the elections was over, 2 months later. So this is one systematic pattern. It is not just here, it is also...
Allow me to rebut, Rahul, please.
Sanjay Jha, you know, when Rahul Gandhi, when there was a slipper thrown on the cavalcade of Prime Minister Modi, Congress leaders suggested that this was comeuppance, that he was kind of, you know, building in the direction of this was bound to happen. Similarly, language like Danda Marenge, now both Amit Malviya and Abhijit Iyer argue that this is setting the grounds for somebody who's angry, frustrated, to attempt what we saw in the United States, where an attempt was made on the life of former President Donald Trump, and that is exactly the direction in which we're going. There's a Thomas Matthew Crooks somewhere who's being encouraged to do what happened in Pennsylvania.
Rahul, good evening. I think the BJP IT cell clearly hasn't done its homework well today. As far as Thomas Matthew Crooks is concerned, reportedly, he is a registered Republican. I mean, that is the first thing that we need to tell the viewers, that, you know, it is very easy to cast aspersions, but he probably belongs to the right wing that Nathuram Godse represented, who murdered Mahatma Gandhi. Here is a larger point. You know, of course, one has to condemn the attack on Trump. But can anybody, by the way, we guys, by the way, don't even matter. The people of America are investigating. The courts have indicted him for the former president and the current, you know, kind of Republican nominee to be, who actually encouraged an insurrection, political violence, while he was the president of the United States. So, you know, Rahul, the truth is, the extremism, you know, the conspiracy theories, and, you know, we all know who those people are, is basically it's a right-wing obsession. You look at the history of fake news, all political parties and all ideologies are guilty. But the right wing has a monopoly on the way they have actually created all these fabricated stories of very dangerous proportions. Here is the point. Since, you know, the BJP leaders mentioned America, do we know, Rahul, about the attack on Speaker Nancy Pelosi? You know, fortunately, she wasn't in the House, where a right-wing crackpot almost killed her husband. I mean, these are realities of our times. And let's come to India very quickly. Blaming Rahul Gandhi, I mean, that's rich. You have a situation since Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, where there has been a call for genocide against Muslims. Have you heard Mr. Modi condemn that? I think the Congress spokesperson mentioned Ramesh Bidhuri's speech, where in Parliament, the man literally abuses 200 million citizens of this country. Did Narendra Modi take any action against it as a Prime Minister? The answer is no. Third, lynching murders, almost reminiscent of, you know, the Ku Klux Klan, you know, in the United States, happening in daylight in India, and in fact has worsened since Mr. Modi became Prime Minister a few weeks ago. Are we going to turn our blind eye to that reality? So let me tell you the truth.
Okay.
No, one last point. During this campaign, Mr. Modi himself actually, you know, took dog whistle politics to another level, making hate speeches against Muslims unambiguously and absolutely with, you know, what I call as brazen impunity. And I think the BJP commenting on Republican attack on Trump and worrying about India, I think to frankly put it across, charity begins at home.